Hello, welcome to another IT Wildcard video where I'm talking about software installation for development purposes. So this is tied in with my current series, Learn to Code, Code to Learn, and pretty soon I'm going to have to be spinning up Prolog because that's the language I want to do next from the 7 Languages in 7 Weeks book. And so I just wanted to walk through, talk about how you set up Prolog on a Windows machine. I'll include links to various Wikipedia articles and such like, so that you can repeat the process if you need to, if you're curious about Prolog, or you just need information about installing it on other systems that aren't Windows. So I'm using Windows 11 machine. I'm going to install SWI Prolog. There's several different implementations of Prolog. Now, in the 7 Languages in 7 Weeks book, it does warn you that there can be differences between these implementations. And in the book, it actually uses GNU Prolog. But I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to run with SWI Prolog, see if that deviates from the book at all, see how I get on. And the reason why I'm doing that is because Exorcism, actually my understanding is that uses SWI Prolog. So yeah, that's why I'm going with that, and I'll just see how I end up. And if I have to change development or compilers or whatever I'm going to call it, implementate. So if I want to try a different implementation and have to revert to GNU, then I'll just do that as I go along. But for this video, I want to show you how to install SWI Prolog, and this is something that I've installed before and dabbled a little bit a few years ago, so I haven't had much trouble with it. The other reason why I picked it, and this may be nothing, but I noticed that the stable release is pretty recent with GNU Prolog. Last stable release was 2 years ago, so I don't know how important that is in this instance with Prolog, but yeah, that's another reason why. So yeah, if you just go to the SWI Prolog page, to the download section, and then stable release. Now, when you click on stable release, all it'll simply do is take you to this next page, and then from here I want to be installing the 64-bit version, which I actually already have on my machine anyway. You will get this warning box. As with a lot of these small implementations of programs that maybe aren't quite so prominent as others, it's not unusual for antivirus programs to do false positives, and there's a warning here about it. So with this, I didn't have any trouble when I downloaded it. I didn't get any errors or anything. So yeah, what I do at this point is obviously go in, run this. Now, I've already run it on my system. The install is very straightforward. It simply comes up with an install box. There's a box, a selection box that comes up with everything ticked. I just left it like that, and a choice box which allows you to decide whether you want it to change certain user settings to do with the environmental settings, where like path is set, those sort of things. And I usually choose an option that does that. With Windows 11, once you've done that, you should find that there's no need to restart the machine. The path implements straight away. And when I say the path, what that in fact is it's the path to the place on the system where SWIPL, the SWI Prolog implementation, has been installed. So it just needs to be able to find that from the command line by doing that update. And Windows 11 straightforward. Windows 10, I normally find you have to restart the machine or restart the kernel, whichever you prefer doing. And there's some tricks you can do at command line if you simply want to restart Explorer.exe in order for those to take effect, those changes to take effect. So yeah, once you've downloaded it, like I said, just install it. It'll create this directory on the system. So then really it's just a question of going into In this case I use Visual Studio Code. Going into the marketplace and installing the Prolog extension, which will give you code highlighting. Now it does note here, if you're using Perl, both Prolog and Perl can have the extension .pl. So yeah, just make sure you take into that account if you're using Perl on your system. So you know, when it's trying to recognize which language, there's instructions on here how to get it to do that, but I don't have a problem on my particular system because I'm not currently running Perl on here. I've actually uninstalled it. So yeah, I've gone with this one. I think it is the one with the most amount of downloads. So that's that bit done, and then what I always like to do as a final check in all of this is just do a quick test. So what that normally involves is, in the case of this, it's Swipple. I've got obviously the terminal window open in Visual Studio Code, and just make sure I'm picking up from here the version number, which means it's finding the location correctly through the environment settings. And of course I can, you know, just test that is the case. I could also do this at the command line as well, same thing. So just make sure that's working okay. Now obviously in the Learn to Code, Code to Learn episode, I'll explain a little bit more about how Prolog works, but basically it uses these knowledge bases to function. So I've got a knowledge base I prepared earlier, actually pulled down from one of the Prolog sites, because I haven't actually started reading the book yet, where I'm going to start learning from 7 Languages in 7 Weeks. And if you do that, what it does is it goes into the Prolog command line, the interface, the implementation of Prolog, but also I put the knowledge base after there. It loads up the knowledge base. So now I'm on the command line. Now you can enter knowledge bases in on the fly by just invoking Swipple without any Prolog file, and then type your knowledge base in there. But everything I do, I normally do through creating a source file rather than just doing it all through, like, say, a REPL. Okay, so to test this, I'm just going to simply, again, I'm not going to go into exactly what this represents. Always have to remember to put a dot at the end of this, but I'm just going to run that, and yeah, that's what I'd expect for it to come back with this particular knowledge base. And so now I know that, yeah, Prolog's working. So there we have it. Thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future episode.